Now entering the elevator to the retail underground. Enjoy the descent to the subversive layer of knowledge.
All right, we are live. What's going on tonight, everybody? What's going on, Dan?
Oh, not too much. I believe we have a very interesting episode today. This is a first for us here on Retail Underground, so I'm really excited about it. Lots of new stuff and things.
Oh yeah, I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be fun. You know, we talk a lot of crypto on this channel. We talk a lot about a lot of different things. We talk Amazon, we talk Shopify, we talk Etsy, we talk Jane.com very, very soon. So, I mean, we talk a lot of different things, but crypto has kind of been one of the biggest things. I think it's been one of the biggest draws for our channel. Most people wanting to tune in, learn about different cryptos that we are interested in. And we have a different process on here that when we go through crypto projects, I don't get into all the technical analysis and all that stuff. I don't make 20-30 minute videos where it's over everybody's head because the information is just information overload. We try to make it as simplified as we possibly can because that's how I like to learn. Like if it's me and I'm trying to learn something brand new, like when I was first getting into crypto, one of the biggest challenges was there wasn't just a simplified version of it where you could go on there and listen to somebody and hear them talk about like why they like a specific project and really kind of make it as simple as possible, because blockchain and crypto and all that stuff is not the easiest thing to understand when you're first starting. So that's kind of our big goal on this channel, is make it as simplified as possible and just let you know, hey, if it's us, it's not professional financial advice, but if it's us, this is where we're throwing our money. This is where we're putting it because we believe in the project, we believe in the team behind it, and the use case that it has. And how about that video that went out earlier today? That's on track to be our biggest video yet. Theta we talked about, which we will be talking about tonight because that price is absolutely skyrocketing today. So I love that project.
That's funny. It's because every time you come out with a new video for crypto, I am a crypto novice in comparison to you, and I don't have nearly the portfolio that you have. But when I hear these new companies, like you did one on, I don't remember what the acronym for it's BAT you had on there. You had,
basic
graph and Theta and all these crazy ones that I have never even heard about. I know the usual ones, your Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ripple, all those, but it is amazing how many more altcoins are coming out. And when we say altcoins, we're talking about alternative coins, not your big ones. But it is amazing. It's amazing how much it's grown, and there's new good ones. And the Theta, when we go and talk about it, you were giving me some rundown on it earlier today, and this is a really cool project. And that's what I think one of the biggest things you look at, if I'm not mistaken, is like, what does it actually stand for? You want to actually understand before you invest in it. That's one of your biggest things, is you'd like to understand the project.
Yes. Yeah. For me, there's a lot of people out there that are really good with technical analysis. That's not me. I, in all honesty, I can't sit through an hour presentation on looking at the charts and looking at technical analysis and figuring out, certain points of, all these different things. And, it makes a certain triangular shape and everything. And that's why it's a good time to buy it. For me, I look at it, I want to buy the dip, and I look at the use case. Is there a use case for this project? And if there is, then okay, well, maybe I take a deeper look at it. If there's not, well, okay, it's not worth it. Plain and simple. I'm not going to spend my time or my money looking at something that just, I really don't see, anything moving forward with it. So, really exciting stuff that we're going to be talking about on here today, because anybody that hasn't seen this, you're probably living under a rock if you haven't seen this. The stimulus did get approved. Okay, so stimulus checks will be coming out. We're going to talk about what impact that has on the crypto space, and also we're going to be talking about some cryptos that we're personally looking at right now to load up more on before the stimulus hits.
Yep. Absolutely.
So what we should know is anybody that is on here that is not subscribed already, you guys subscribe to the channel. Throw us a like if you like what we're talking about on here. Leave your comments in there. We will get to everybody's comments later on as we go. We're going to be doing a little bit of screen share, kind of talking about things that we like and where we're going with our money right now, and where ultimately we think that all these projects are going to be going before the end of this bull cycle.
Absolutely.
So let's do it.
All right, let's get to it. So first question is, what will the stimulus approval do to crypto? And I think this is an obvious one, everyone, but what can you tell us about it?
I mean, it's going to be like strapping a jetpack to the crypto market and just watching it go. I mean, it's going to be nuts. I mean, look, anytime that you infuse that kind of cash into anything, especially an asset like this, an asset class like this, it can only create good things. I mean, the other day when I was making the video on, not only the stimulus getting approved, but we had one yesterday about what does that mean for projects like Bitcoin, Ethereum, all these top projects. I can't find anything bad to say, well, I'll play devil's advocate and say this. I can't find anything bad about that, because here's the thing, guys. The more, and this is not to get, too into politics or anything like that, but the truth of the matter is the more that the money gets printed, the more people, the dollar loses its stability, the dollar loses value, and people start to lose faith in wanting to put their money in banks, wanting to put their money in the government's hands. They want their own control of it, and they're going to put it into something that they have much more control over, or at least they feel that they do. A lot of people are going to start turning towards the crypto space. From there, I think that anybody that has, look, if you need the money for your own personal things in your life, obviously don't put it into crypto. Make sure that you take care of you and yours first. If you have that disposable income already, and this is just kind of a little additional boost if you are eligible for the stimulus, I think that a lot of that money is going to go into crypto, and we're really going to start to see those prices just skyrocket.
Yep.
I know I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, and it's interesting you talked about, and without obviously getting too far into, venturing into that too much with politics, but there's only so much money you can print before the dollar loses its value. And this isn't just this administration. This is like one of, every government has to do it. And especially with COVID and everything, governments are having to approve all these, trillions and trillions of dollars. Money has to come from somewhere. And it can't just come out of thin air and not be, inflated. And when inflation happens, like you said, people start to look to other ways to look for stability. And is it going to be the crypto market for long term? We don't know that. I don't know. I think it's going to have a couple more corrections, in the next 3 to 4 years. But I think it's interesting in the 10-year plan. If you look 10 years from now, I think you'll be curious. It'll be interesting to see where everything goes. And I think a lot more people are going to use that as a secondary currency. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah. No, it's exciting times for sure. If you asked me 4 years ago when I got into this, it was starting to go mainstream a little bit, and every little piece of news of maybe starting to see mass adoption was really, really exciting, but it never really had that aha moment where finally all the stars aligned and it worked perfectly. And I feel like during this run, I mean, we already kind of were predicting Bitcoin is very cyclical. Anybody that's brand new to it, definitely look that up, and we're going to cover that more on this channel as well. Bitcoin is very cyclical, and you could tell that the bull run was coming because it moves in cycles, and it's all based around the Bitcoin halving that happens every 4 years. So we knew that there was going to be a bull run that was coming. And, I don't think anybody at the very beginning of it really could predict the prices that are being thrown out there now for each one of them. And we're going to give you guys our price predictions for them later on during this. But this is just speeding up that process exponentially, having not only the first stimulus that came out basically a year ago. That's hard to believe. It's been pretty much a year that we've been into this thing. But, the first stimulus that came out, really kind of set things off and really got it going in the right direction and gave it that momentum. And then it's just continued to build steam the whole way through. And then this right here is just going to put it into the freaking stratosphere, I think.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is, and you're going to get a little further into it as we go, specifically, like you want to talk about a few specific altcoins today, I think, but a lot of people in the mainstream, a lot of big companies especially, are going to invest into Bitcoin first and foremost, because Bitcoin in the crypto world is going to be your Apple stock, your, the safe generic. It's kind of your, it's the safe bet to make, just to make steady money for the next couple months at least while the bull run's happening. But these altcoins you're talking about, and like especially the last few days, like you said, a couple of them are up 13% in the last few days, and it's interesting. And I don't think you're going to see a lot of big companies make those ones, which is what the fun part is all the little guys like us are the ones is what making those prices go up. Bitcoin at this point is not really being bought by your average Joes because it's so expensive. I mean, you can still buy it, but if Bitcoin hit to 100,000, you double your money. Yeah, it's great. Like obviously it's amazing, but like it's going to take so much to get there still versus, some of these only have to bump up a little bit to double.
Right. So, it's crazy. Investors in the stock market hope for a 10% yearly return, and that's considered a phenomenal year on their money, whereas in crypto that's just an average week in a lot of these things. So that's the crazy thing. So let's jump right into this one right here. So what are the top cryptos that we're looking at right now? And let me pull this right up on the screen here. Hold on just a second here. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me get rid of that first.
He's
we
learning
know what that does.
He's
if we don't
learning as we can see him.
All right, there we go. All right. So let's take a look at the market real quick here. And guys, like I said, this is not going to be something where we're doing a bunch of technical analysis, anything like that. It's just, that's not my cup of tea. You know what? I like looking at the actual projects and what makes sense, and then looking at the numbers for it. When we put out a video, I think it was last week, where we talked about like a profit taking strategy, but also a strategy in order to buy low and sell high, basically. And that's, that's the whole concept of it. That's the whole idea is, buy it when it's on a dip. Obviously, we don't want to buy something when it is absolutely just crushing it that day. We want to wait till it's in the red, buy it on a dip, and then sell it at a higher amount. And you have to be willing to take profits. I think that's one of the big things in crypto that gets lost on a lot of people. You have to be willing to take some profits, because look, nobody can perfectly time the bottom. Nobody can perfectly time the top. You know what? If I had a crystal ball and I could predict all the bottoms and all the tops, I'd be retired by now. It's nobody can do that accurately. So you have to be willing to take some money off the top as you're going up, because I can tell you a perfect example. 4 years ago, there's a project known as Tron right there, sitting at number 24. Guys, this was the hottest thing going 4 years ago. Okay. This thing was scorching hot. This was the new Ethereum killer. Everybody loved this. And it had, this awesome young CEO and all this hype behind it. So I got into it it was actually less than this. It was like 2 cents, 3 cents, somewhere in there. Well, this thing shot all the way up to like 35 cents at one point. I mean, it was just on a tear. It was just running. I was brand new to the space. Didn't know, never really had invested into stocks or anything like that. Just wasn't really familiar with a lot of this. So I just kept waiting and waiting and waiting, because I'm like, man, this thing just keeps going higher and keeps going higher. Well, it topped off at like 35. And then it just kind of came down to 30. And I was just like, no, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Just keep waiting. And then it goes down to 25. And you guys can see where this is going. I waited till it got all the way down to about 10 cents. I still made money on it, but it got down to about 10 cents before I finally realized that, shit, if I would have just taken money out at 25 cents on the way up, then 30 cents, then 35 cents, take it in little bits and pieces and take your profits. And then you know what? You can buy back into it when it goes back down if you want to, or put those profits into another project that you think's getting ready to run.
And if you guys have done that before, it is harder than it sounds. It's easy. It's easy from the cheap seats to say, oh my gosh, why wouldn't you sell when you tripled your money? It's easy to get really piggish and start going, oh my God, if I can triple my money, why can't I quadruple it? And
well, that
because you have that dream, but like you said, as soon as you start making a little money, you got to start shaving some profit, because then it gives you that ability to hold for that, hopefully that moon shot that you hope for, but not all of them happen. But look at right there, Joe. Look at Theta today.
Yeah, that's I want to talk about. Wow. Actually, three of them right here that we've talked about recently. Actually 4 of them, because Ave we talked about too. But I mean, and there's a lot of
That is
projects up right now. I mean,
insane.
no doubt about it. There's a lot of projects out that are up right now. But look at Theta right there. I mean, the video just went out today on that. I filmed it last night. Went out earlier today. I mean, look at that, 55% in 1 week.
God.
15% today. I mean, absolutely mooning. Guys, anybody that wants to know what Theta is, it is a streaming service. Okay, they're not going head to head with YouTube. They're not going head to head with Twitch or anything like that. They're looking to partner with companies like that because, as we explained in the video, basically, and this is one of my favorite projects. Okay, I love Theta, and I actually was fortunate enough to load up on more of it the other day because I knew that this is going to be a big project. Now, the whole goal for them, and here's the thing: when you have one of the co-founders of YouTube, one of the co-founders of Twitch, one of the main guys at Sony as some of your advisors on your advisory board, you're going places. Okay.
Yeah,
You have some of the biggest names in the game
yeah.
as your advisors for it. So that tells you right there, they don't view these guys as competition. They view them as a huge asset to this industry. Because what happens is, there's no big secret. The whole world right now is going towards visual stuff, video, pictures, but streaming is the next big thing. I mean, hey, you guys are watching a stream right now. Streaming is the future. That's how people want to consume their content. The problem, even with a site as big as YouTube, the problem is they don't have the capacity or the bandwidth to be able to have that many streams going and that many people using it and be able to maintain a really, really high quality. So a company like Theta can basically provide them a massive upgrade to their system right there and partner with them on that and provide a huge service to them that they desperately need. So I love Theta. I think the use case for this thing is this may have one of the top 2 or 3 use cases in crypto. I really do believe that because it's going to be such a needed thing. I mean, again, you can see how YouTube changed the game back in 2005 and how quickly they grew to where they're at now. This right here is just scratching the surface, I think, of where their potential is and where they could go.
Yeah, isn't it crazy? YouTube's only been around since 2005. Like it's so ubiquitous now. But even I guess if you really think about it though, when you and I were in high school though, you didn't really use YouTube for much other than like those stupid viral videos of like Mentos and Coke and things like that. The amount of stuff you can get from it
Yeah.
now. I mean, look at what we're doing now. We're talking about cryptocurrency. I mean, it's insane. But something like that for sure has value. And I think that's the important thing that you're trying to convey to people is if a lot of these altcoins here have a great usage.
Oh man. Well, I said in the video, I don't think it's out of the question at all. I think this is a very conservative estimate. I think for sure Theta hits $20 this year easily. Again, not professional financial advice, guys. Do your own research on that, but honestly, I think it's going to go quite a bit higher than that. But I want to keep it somewhat conservative. I don't want to seem too hypey about anything or anything like that. But kind of moving down the list, we talked very briefly about Terra. I've got a video on that. We haven't released it yet. I kind of wish we would have because it would have been, perfect timing for it, because this thing is absolutely just running right now. So definitely watch out for Terra. We will have a video covering that. I'm not going to cover it really right now in this one. We will be covering that more in depth in a video, and then we will talk about that one for sure on a future live stream. But VeChain, right there, another one of my favorites. I mean, guys, there is a lot of value, and there's a lot of value outside the top 20 as well. But there's a lot of value in some of these ones that aren't the big boys in the space. VeChain, for anybody that doesn't know, supply chain management. Okay, to me, these guys are so far ahead, and same thing with Theta. These guys not only have a great use case, they are so far ahead of the game in terms of any competition that they might have. It's not even close. Okay. You look at VeChain, Theta, and Chainlink, who we're going to talk about here in a couple minutes. They're so far out in front of anybody else that, I mean, it's almost unfair. I mean, it's crazy how far out in advance they are on all of that. And each one of them has a really good use case. Okay. Each one of them has something that is desperately needed and will be massively important moving forward.
Yeah, so Theta is more of Theta's live streaming. Basically that's their niche. V-chain is like supply. What was it you said?
Supply chain. So basically,
Mm.
getting something from point A to point B. You buy a T-shirt and it's coming from, let's say, China. Getting it all the way through, and their whole thing is, instead of having all of that information being held by in one place basically, and somebody hoards all that information, it should be something that's fully transparent to all parties involved within that to ensure accuracy along the way. So they've already formed partnerships with China or Walmart over in China. They're working with the Chinese government right now. So, I mean, big things happening with VeChain. Like I said, Theta's got some partnerships in the work. Google actually has got some stuff going in Samsung as well with Theta. So definitely watch out for them. One other one I want to cover, and it's going to be farther down. We'll talk about synthetics and the graph on a future one. I'll tell you what, people love the graph. Those videos that we've put out about the graph, up until today when we put Theta out, that was the highest view count that we've been getting on that. So love that project. Filecoin, we've got a video coming out very, very soon on that. But I want to get to, look at this, Engine Coin.
Oh my God.
It's insane. Again,
That is
guys,
absolutely insane.
let's pull this up real quick.
So what is it? So what is Engine?
I'm going to pull it up for you. Hold on a second.
So real quick, guys. So VeChain dealing with supplies and everything, and supply chains and everything. If you can get, it must be a good product, or it must be a good, what should I say? A good, what do I want to say? Good altcoin option, and it's a good service that it's offering, because it's getting something like the Chinese government to invest in it, and also be allowing you to be fully transparent. That's not something that someone like the Chinese government really wants to do. But if they look at it and say, oh yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense, that's a product that's not going anywhere. It's going to only continue to grow.
Yeah, so this is one right here I wanted to talk about a little bit tonight too. Again, guys, if you don't think live streaming, gaming, anything in that space is the future, right here, Engine Coin is all based around gaming and apps. Okay, so gaming is going to be massively important. We do have some videos that we will be dropping again very soon, revolving around this entire space right here. But this is the future. I mean, this is the now, really, right now. I mean, this is what people are into. And you want to look for, if it's me, I'm looking at 3 different spaces. I'm looking at DeFi, which is decentralized finance, NFTs, okay, non-fungible tokens, and then also any type of gaming or streaming. Those are the big 3 that I would be looking at if you're looking into some altcoins, just because the potential is there where we know that's going to be around. That's not going away. It's proven that it's going to be around. And this is absolutely a project. I mean, there's been a lot of good news that's come out about this project lately. So a lot of that is due to a lot of good news that's coming out for it and everything. But Engine is doing very, very well. The other one that I want to talk about real quick before we get into to the big boys here is, sorry guys, my internet is, every time I run StreamYard on this thing, it's it kills it. Right here, basic attention token, BAT, good old BAT. This is a great project, guys. It's founded by one of the co-founders of Mozilla Firefox. If you're not familiar with that, it's one of the largest search engine browsers, I should say, out there, right up there with Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, all that type of stuff, Microsoft Edge. And the whole idea of this right here, how many people out there have to download like third-party ad blocking software and stuff like that, because you just get constantly fed all sorts of different ads, pop-ups, stuff like that. Same thing, you go onto Facebook or any social site like that, and you're getting just constant streams of ads thrown your way because they're collecting all your data and then feeding that to the advertising companies. BAT is basically trying to combat that. They come out with a new browser called the Brave browser. The whole idea behind that is essentially it gets rid of all of that. It lets the people keep their data. It puts the power into the people's hands. And then 2 different things happen. You get rewarded as a consumer if you watch an ad. So if you get like a 30-second ad that pops up and you watch that, you get rewarded for that with BAT tokens. And then same thing happens on the other end. If an advertiser has somebody that watches their ad for any significant amount of time, they get rewarded as well. So you don't get shown all these random ads because, you know, Facebook, for instance, is collecting all of your data and then, you know, giving that to all these different advertising companies and stuff like that. They're really trying to take the power away from the data collectors, and they're trying to give it back to not only the consumer, but also the publishers and advertising companies that are trying to advertise it to you. They're trying to give them the most bang for their buck, and they're trying not to drive away users by getting just so many ad spam their way that they can't stand it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very interesting.
Yeah, no, I think, again, use case, you know, if there's a use case for it, that's the big thing.
I think that's the biggest thing with crypto. I think when most people think of crypto, they think it's literally an online dollar. I think that's what a lot of people think it is. They think it's, oh, it's basically like a dollar, but it's not the US dollar. It's just an online, you know, ubiquitous thing that you can kind of, you know, but you don't really know what you can do with it. And there's just, it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't mean it's just because just because Bitcoin's the biggest one out there doesn't mean that every single one's like Bitcoin. It's not, they're not all decentralized finance options.
Yeah.
There's so many different use cases that some of these have, and it's amazing.
No, I agree 100%. I think there's so many different projects out there. Sometimes it's almost overwhelming and it can be tough to pick what are the best ones. But the question I think that we had before this was basically, what are my top picks right now? So some of the ones we just went over are some of my favorite ones, and some of the other ones that, you know, I would definitely recommend looking into. But if you want my, let's say, top 3 picks of what I'm looking at right now, number 1, right there, Ethereum. You guys know my thoughts on Ethereum. I think it's the chosen one. This thing is ready to go. Okay. What you have to understand about the crypto space is there's what they call FUD. Okay. FUD is fear, uncertainty, doubt. There's a lot of whales, larger players in the market that will cause all sorts of FUD. Okay. They will basically try to keep the price down. Okay. The whole goal of that is they want people to sell out of their crypto so they can buy more at a cheap price, you know? So that's why they always basically say, try to hold what you have, basically. So don't let them suppress the price down so that they can buy it. Eventually they're going to either give up or they'll move on to a different one. Ethereum's had a lot of that going on. Okay. I think that the whales realize that this is the last best chance to scoop up as much Ethereum as they can before it goes over 2,000 and never looks back. You know, the previous all-time high for this, and let's pull it up on here real quick. Previously, you know, back in 2018, I mean, this thing touched just over 1,400, basically, depending on what exchange you were looking at. Well, recently, Ethereum made it up almost to, actually, I think it actually did get just over $2,000 on this last little run that it was on. And CoinMarketCap actually has it lower, but it actually, depending on the exchange, was over $2,000. Now, it did find a nice little bit of support over the last, let's look at the last month real quick here. So you can see where it went over $2,000 right there, and then it kind of, you know, started falling down, but it found this nice little channel of support right here between $1,400 and $1,600. And, you know, here you go. This is my technical analysis right here. This is what I look at right here. You know what? It's found some nice resistance, and literally for the last couple weeks, it was kind of just staying in that pocket right there. To me, that looks a hell of a lot like this right here, where it's just kind of nice and steady. It's not really going up or down too much, a lot of sideways action, and then watch that, boom, there it goes. So I think that this continues. I think, you know, Bitcoin will continue to run because of the stimulus money coming in. However, if you look at it, okay, people are getting $1,400 each. Ethereum's not much more than $1,400 right now, you know, comparatively. People could almost buy an entire Ethereum, and they're only going to buy about a, you know, 50th of a Bitcoin, you know. So, you know, psychologically, that, you know, you look at that as a consumer, and even though it's the exact same amount of money that you're holding in either one of them, the fact that you can look at it and say, wow, I can almost have an entire Ethereum, whereas I'm only going to have like a 0.0001 Bitcoin or something, you know? So, it plays with people's emotions. It plays with people's minds. However, I think Ethereum has one of the best use cases going. I mean, it literally is the one that most of these tokens are built on. And if you look back in history from a technological standpoint, okay, most of the most successful companies in history are technology companies. Okay. I think Ethereum follows suit with that. Now, do I think it's the best bet long term? No. I think for this bull run, okay, for the next 6 months, this is the one to be on right here. So that's my number one pick. Number two, Chainlink. You guys know I love Chainlink. I think that this one again is ready to go. Okay, at $30, and I almost put another video out about Chainlink, just saying, hey, look, I think that this thing I think it's ready to pop off. I think it's ready to go. If you look at overall use case and the team behind this and the partnerships they have, to me, I could see this right here sliding in at that number 3 slot before this run is all said and done. That's how bullish I am on this project. I absolutely love Chainlink. That's like my I don't even know. Like, that's like if this is one, this is 1A right here. I love Chainlink. I that's my number 2 right there. Number 3, that one's tough to call because I think now that Bitcoin, I mean, wow, look at it today. It's back up. I mean, it's approaching 54, probably going to be 55. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at with Bitcoin. I'm not really looking to buy any more right now. I might get a little bit more, but I'm not looking to get crazy with that. If I was going to put it in something, it would either be, I would say Cardano or Litecoin. Again, Cardano, I think, will overtake Ethereum at some point, not during this bull run, but after. I love Cardano. And then Litecoin, I want to pull that up real quick because, again, guys, Litecoin sitting just over half of its previous all-time high. I mean, if you want a project that hasn't even come close to where it's at or where it's been before, this is it right here. This and actually Stellar would be the other one. But either one of those, I guess you could throw either Stellar or Litecoin in there. Both of them are sitting literally at like half of their previous all-time high. So if you want to talk about room to grow, they haven't even made it back to where they've previously been before. If they get there, watch out, because I mean, you could basically 2x your money right there. And then if that thing runs, I mean, holy shit.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually still have Litecoin from 2017. In my wallet, and it's sat there, and I'm not necessarily too upset about it. It's Litecoin's in my opinion, one of the safer ones, just because it's been around for so long. It's one of your boring, unsexy ones, but it's steady Eddie.
Yeah, I would agree. It is. It's never gonna wow you. It's a good project. It's one of those things that, again, I agree with Dan. I look at it from a use case standpoint, it doesn't have that sexy use case like digital oracles that Chainlink has, or supply chain management, or streaming, or something that is going to be this big revolutionary thing. However, this is just that slow and steady wins the race type of thing. And I think that sitting at that price point, it's crazy. And now here's the other thing. If you look at what it's done previously, that thing went parabolic back in 2018. I mean, it literally just all of a sudden it had nice little momentum going, and then all of a sudden, bam. When does that happen here? Because I think it's going to repeat itself. I mean, history tends to repeat itself with crypto. I think that's going to happen at some point. So that's why, for this one, I'm not as bullish on the project. And it's probably, in all honesty, this is one of those right here for me. It's too good of a price not to buy it. And then when it reaches at least its previous all-time high, or it blows through that, I'm probably going to sell it and I'm going to put it into something else. Because I don't, from a long-term standpoint, I'm not super bullish on this comparative to other ones. But for the short term, I think it's a great buy. The other one I just mentioned was Stellar. I think Stellar, again, sitting at literally about half of its previous all-time high, this has one of the other best use cases that there are. And I think, again, with Ripple, for anybody that doesn't know, Ripple is fighting an SEC investigation right now. So Stellar and Ripple are basically the same project. The only difference is Ripple was going after banks in terms of payment processing and international transaction processing. Stellar is peer-to-peer, but it's for the unbanked. So same use case, just different target demographic that they're going for. But I think as Ripple is having its issues right now, and has somehow stayed in the top 10, I think it's only a matter of time.
I think it's the staying power of Ripple, in my opinion, is, and I think it's a matter of time for Stellar too, because of what it actually is, its purpose. But one of the things we got real bullish back in 2017 or 2018 on Ripple, and everyone Ripple was number 2 or 3 for a long time. If they could get their shit figured out and get that whole thing with the investigation cleared, they have a great. Their idea is so good, and same with Stellar, the peer-to-peer idea. It's such a good idea. I think it's bound to take off because of what they want to do, and like you said, what they want to do with the market, what their actual real life tangible thing they want to do. If it makes sense, I think it's always a good investment.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm a buyer if the SEC investigation is either dropped or they settle with them out of court, or something happens where it lifts kind of that cloud over Ripple. I'm definitely a buyer, because at these prices, I mean, we know where this thing's been before. This thing was over $3, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, however long ago it was over $3. And this was, I mean, literally all the rage during the last bull run. It actually passed Ethereum at one point as the number 2, very, very briefly. I mean, this thing was all the rage. There was a time where basically all you could get, like if you were on Coinbase, you could get Bitcoin, you could get Litecoin, you could get Ethereum, and you could get Ripple. And that was it basically. Yep. And now you can get a lot more of them, and Ripple has been delisted from a ton of exchanges. But there was a time where this was right up there with Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin, really, as being one of the only ones available that were on pretty much every single exchange, and it was very easy to get your hands on it. So it's going to be really interesting to see where that goes. But I think in the meantime, watch out for this one right here. As Stellar heats up, that's one that typically as well it goes in spurts. It'll just kind of look like it's dead in the water and just kind of be, just trickling along. And then all of a sudden, man, it just absolutely moons out of nowhere.
Yeah. So, okay, say you have $100 and you just want to get started in crypto. One option, so you have one pump and, one you want to pump and dump, one you want to put $100 in, ideally make 150, $200 and dump it quick, or, rather quick within a month or two. And one you want long-term $100 investment. Which ones would you pick?
Quick would be Chainlink. I think long-term it's a very safe play as well, but guys, I think with the stimulus news, with the news coming out about the stimulus, money is going to flow into this market like it's never flown in here before. I feel very, very comfortable predicting that I think Chainlink will at least get to $50 by the end of this month. Okay, so within 3 weeks, this thing will be $50. I'm very, very comfortable saying that, or it'll be right in that realm. Long term, I think it's going way higher than that. But long term, if I was buying anything right now, long term, Ethereum, I'd put it in there and just leave it for 6 months. And right now sitting at $1,800, I've got Ethereum pegged to be over 20 grand by the end of the year. So actually, let's do a little bit of price predictions. Bitcoin. I don't know if have I given a price prediction on Bitcoin? I might have in the video the other day. I'm trying to remember. We filmed so many videos the last few days. I'm trying to remember if I did, but if I didn't, let's do it right now. Where do I think Bitcoin's going to be? It's well into the 6 figures. I've gone on record saying that multiple times. I think at least 200,000. Personally, I think at least 200,000 before the end of this cycle. Now, there's a lot of people out there that are speculating it could hit 500,000 during this bull run. I hope it does. I really, really hope it does, because if Bitcoin's at 500,000, oh man, I can't even imagine where the rest of the market's going to be. I think it's going to do that during this? I don't think it'll do it during this one. I think ultimately, yes, Bitcoin will easily surpass 500,000 some point in the future. I don't see it during this one, but I think 200,000 at least is a very good estimate, at least in my opinion. Ethereum, I think, hits at least 20K. I really believe that. Cardano, I think, has a chance to hit $10, maybe a little bit more. I love that project right there. Stellar, I want to say, I think $3 to $4 somewhere in there, maybe a little bit more. Okay. It's always hard to call. I mean, it is. It's very, very difficult to predict because you don't know how the market's going to shake out. But those are just kind of some price predictions that I have for each one of them. I think that I think it's one of those things where the money's going to come into Bitcoin at first. It already has been. But as that price continues to grow, all of these other ones will as well, because that Bitcoin dominance, for anybody that's not familiar with CoinMarketCap and what we can do on a future stream, if you guys want, is actually walk through, because we have a lot of new people that are brand new to crypto, and it can be kind of overwhelming, okay, what you're looking at, how to do it. Bitcoin dominance right there. Obviously, the higher that number, the more Bitcoin holds a dominance in terms of market cap over the rest of the entire market. So keep an eye on that right there. As that number goes down, it means more money is flowing into the altcoins, which ultimately, at least for me, I would prefer. I love Bitcoin, but I would prefer the altcoins to really moon, because that's where you can really make the big money. The other thing right here, market cap. Really interesting, because like I can remember when I first got into crypto, the 24-hour volume was nowhere near 128 billion. I mean, it was not even close to that. But the market cap being 1.6 trillion right now, like I can remember the day that we hit 900 trillion. Okay, almost half of where we're at right now. We hit 900 trillion. And people were like celebrating because we didn't think it was possible to get that close to $1 trillion market cap. Now, Bitcoin has already been over $1 trillion market cap at one point and is going to hit it in the next day or two, probably.
Yeah, it's
so
crazy.
It's insane. I mean, but that's just scratching the surface of where this thing could go. I mean, again, think about if Bitcoin gets to 500,000 at some point. I mean,
there's a lot of repercussions for that. Not necessarily not bad ones, but it's going to change a lot of things, and it's very interesting to think about. But all right, let's get to questions. What we got?
All right, let's get it.
So we had some comments in there.
All right, yeah, let's see who we've got on here. There we go.
What's up, Dad?
How we doing?
He's got some Bitcoin. What's he got? Ethereum.
Oh yeah, I've got him in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Stellar, Chainlink, and something else. I'm trying to remember what else he's in right now. It might be those. I was thinking he was into 5 of them right now, if I remember right. Let's see. T Hatch, I think that must be Tam. She says, "Yo, what's going on, Tam? How we doing?" Bart's in the house. What's going on, Bart? How we doing?
Our internet works tonight, guys. That was really weird. We both have the same internet provider, and it's fiber optic cable, and when one goes out in a region, the whole thing goes out. So neither of us had internet. What's up, Dan?
How we doing, Dan? John's in here. He says, "Hey, what's going on, John?" Let's see. Joe, what's going on? Jonathan says, "I believe Chainlink is going to take off soon." I do too. I really do. I think, like I said, I think $50 for Chainlink by the end of this month. I mean, with the stimulus money coming in, personally, I don't see any reason to think that it won't. I mean, I think a lot of these projects are really, really going to take off. I can't see any bad scenarios with stimulus money coming in. I mean, anytime that the government basically is giving out free money, I don't see how that could possibly be bad for the crypto space. Could be, could be great for the stock market as well. I don't really play the stock market. I put it all more so in crypto. It's probably a little bit safer to put it in the stock market. However, I like those 200, 300, 400% gains. Once you've had a couple of them, it's hard to, it's like an addiction at that point.
Yep.
It's That's right. It's like an addiction. But no, I love Chainlink. Like I said, I really believe that it has the potential to be top three. I do. I think it's from a use case and a partnership and a leadership standpoint, it checks all the boxes and then some. And look, anytime that you have Google using your service, I don't care what it is and what facet of Google it is that's doing it.
You're
I
doing
think
something
that,
right.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think you're doing something right for it. So to me, I love it. What do you think of Ravencoin? That's an interesting question. That's something actually, I do like it. I'm not as familiar with the project itself, and it is something that I'm going to be making a video on very, very soon. I don't hold any myself, but I actually do like the project. So it's something that I want to dive a little deeper into it because I like to research projects before I end up investing myself into it. But it is something I did actually have on the sheet to cover and want to be able to cover on the channel. So watch out for that coming up over the next couple of weeks because I actually do have plans to make a video on that because it is something I'm looking more and more into and researching more of that particular one. Jonathan said you said 75,000 quickly in the stimulus video. Yes. Okay. That makes sense then. Yeah. I don't see any reason to believe that it won't at least hit 75,000 here in the next, I would say, month. I really think that with that money flowing in, again, the institutions are going to continue to keep on pumping more and more money into it. I think it's only a matter of time before you start seeing larger companies, other large companies, Apple, Google. I mean, you start naming off these big companies, and maybe they already are. I mean, excuse me, they may already be looking into it and ready to do it. There could be scenarios where, companies like Apple and some of them are creating their own version of it. Amazon, I'll be shocked if they don't somehow get into the space and they don't start either carrying Bitcoin on their balance sheet or, in some facet have Bitcoin being a part of what they're doing. I mean, I don't see how they couldn't at this point. I mean, all these other companies are definitely taking note. When you have the world's richest man, Elon Musk, investing heavily into Bitcoin at that point, I mean, and he's kind of been at the forefront of a lot of different things when you look at solar energy, but also with what he's doing with Tesla and SpaceX and everything. How can you not look at it and say, okay, this guy's and previous to that, PayPal. I mean, how can you look at it and say, okay, this guy clearly has a vision for where things are going in the world, and if he's investing heavily into Bitcoin, then that's probably where we ought to be doing it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. What's your ideas on Litecoin short-term price? I think it's a great question. I think personally, I think Litecoin at least gets to its previous all-time high during this round of stimulus money coming into it. So I would have to believe it's at least going to get to its previous all-time high, which is about $350, $360. I'll be surprised if it doesn't go higher than that, to be honest with you, though. I think it's one of those that has some of the biggest upside short term just because of the fact that it has so much room to still grow. Yes, it's Tam. This is my other account. There you go. I thought it had to be Tam. When are we having the draft for Fantasy Crypto League? Actually, really soon. So we did find okay, maybe on Wednesday stream, Dan, we will
we gotta get together and come up. We got so busy the last few days at work, we haven't had a chance to really get together and talk about it. But we do absolutely plan on doing it as soon as possible. Let's shoot for Wednesday to set it up. But yeah, we did find we actually, it wasn't even us, it was Dad. He found an app that might work for it. We gotta see how many people we can fit in the league. But yeah, we'll do a gift giveaway prize for the winner. We'll do it for a month, or do you want to do it over two? We could do it over 2 weeks, maybe. We'll come up with the details. We'll get the deets for you guys later on. But hopefully Wednesday, we'll at least let you know Wednesday, maybe Thursday we'll do it. I don't know. We'll let you know very soon. Because we want to make sure it's well done and everything. But I think that's something we can really have some fun with.
Oh yeah, I think it's going to be a really good time. I'm excited for it. So we'll definitely be covering that more later this week for you guys. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Dan the man says, do you have any feelings on New Cipher? I do, actually. That's another great one. I do have plans on covering that in the very near future. I like it. I think privacy, I would put that right up there with what I had said earlier about streaming, and all these other projects that really have a great use case. Privacy, I would say, is one of the bigger ones out there too, and that kind of falls in line with like what basic attention tokens really trying to do too. New Cipher is a different realm of the privacy end of things, but same space and everything. And I really do believe that privacy is going to be huge. Like people are tired of social media sites, in particular Facebook and some of those, collecting all their data, and then kind of selling it out on them. Look, it's your data, and that's kind of the big argument going on right now is, look, that's my data. I should be getting, I should be able to monetize my data. Basically, I should be able to get, some sort of compensation for that. So people get tired of all of their information, all their data being, taken away from them and everything. So I do think, anything privacy based like that, is going to be really, really important. Same thing with businesses too. I think that's going to become very, very key moving forward, is, giving the power back to the owners and the people, rather than any of these larger companies having access to that.
Absolutely.
Recently started mining PI crypto on an app for free. I have over 100 PI. It started by Stanford graduates. Do you have any thoughts on it? Somebody else messaged me about that the other day, and I honestly haven't had a chance to look into it, but it's on my to-do list on things that I do want to look into. I did have somebody else that actually messaged me about that. So I don't know. It's very, very interesting, how all that works and everything. Actually, I'm going to try to look it up right now real quick. Dan, go ahead and keep going down through the chat if you want to. I want to look that up a little bit real quick.
All right. So Joanna Wright says, hello, everyone. What is your opinion on Elrond, the gold coin? I have not heard of that one, so let me know if I'm sure you have.
Hold on just a second here.
Elrond gold coin. I'm trying to remember. That is not one that rings a bell for me, but
okay, sorry, I was just looking at Leroy. Yeah, that's really interesting, the PI thing. So I will look into that, and I will excuse me, I'll give you some thoughts on that. I don't know. It's an interesting idea. I'm definitely going to take a look at it now. All right, let's get that pulled up there. What do I think about Elrond? I do like Elrond. It's one of those things that I don't have any right now. Is it on my radar? Yes, it is something that's on my radar because, again, they have a great use case. Okay. To me, that's the secret sauce. I don't really get into a lot of technical analysis. I don't get into a lot of that type of stuff, but do they have a great use case? Do they have a great team behind them? Do they either have partnerships or will have partnerships in the future? And, I think Elrond does check off all those boxes. They've been featured in a ton of different periodicals and websites and stuff like that for what they're doing. And I do like that project, so I do think it's something that I'm definitely taking a look at. And I would like to add some of that to my portfolio. I don't have it right now, but it's on my very, very short list of ones that I do plan on adding before we really, really start to blast off. Jonathan, what do you think of Ethereum Classic? Nope. There's only one Ethereum.
It's a poser.
What's that?
I said, you said it's a poser.
That's right. No posers. No. No, I think Ethereum Classic's okay. It's not something that I'm investing in myself. I try to, like I said, I try to go as deep into the project as I possibly can when I'm looking at it to figure out, does this ultimately make sense? And I just have never been a fan of it personally. And I don't know, maybe that's just me like being blinded by other projects that I really like more. I've just never been a really big fan of Ethereum Classic. $800 first target after 300. That would be awesome. I think the I think if Litecoin truly can break through, at least that's what I'm assuming this is based on. I think if it can break through its previous all-time high, which was right about 350-ish, somewhere in there, if it can break through that, I don't see any reason that it can't get to $600-700 very, very quickly. I really do think that it could. It's all about getting through that barrier, and it's not even just a barrier for that, it's a psychological barrier for a lot of people that are buying, but also a lot of people that already have invested into it. And at what point do they want to try to sell some of theirs and take profit? So
Yep.
I think that's what you have to understand a lot of times, with especially in crypto. That happens a lot of times, is at what point do people get to a certain level where they're like, you know what, it could keep going up, but I could take some profit off the table right now, sell out of what I have, and then I can either buy it if it goes back down, or maybe I'll take that money and put it to use somewhere else.
Yep.
Is Graph a good investment? Graph is a phenomenal investment. I love Graph. Actually, man, now I'm kind of wishing I would have went back and I might have to revise my investment. If I had $100, no, I think I would still put it in Chainlink.
Yeah, you love Chainlink way too much.
I do. I am a Chainlink fanboy. There's no doubt about that. Chainlink and Ethereum, they're the two chosen ones. One is like the Anakin Skywalker, the other one's the Harry Potter of crypto. Take your pick, whichever one you're more of a fan of. I love them both. So, but I'll tell you, Graph, man, watch out. That, to me, that's the Google of blockchain. The Graph is going to be like the Google of blockchain. So I love that project. I think that one has massive potential. The use case on that thing is off the charts. So I think it's a great investment, especially where it's at right now. Because let me see where it's at. Where is the Graph at right now compared to, because we actually did a video on it the other day. Yeah, it's only at $1.94 right now. The other day when we did the video, it was like $2.20 or something like that. So I think it's at a great purchase price.
Yeah. No, you missed one. Any strong ideas on Digibyte?
I don't have it right now personally. I think that there's other better projects maybe in that space right now. Let me write that down, because you know what? Let's cover a few on the next one. We will actually cover Digibyte. We'll cover Digibyte a little bit, and then we'll cover a couple other projects that I prefer compared to that. So yeah, let's throw that on there.
Digibyte sounds like a Pokemon name or something.
It kind of does, doesn't it?
Digibyte, I choose you.
How much more popularity buzz do you think Dogecoin will get, all the while the price doesn't increase?
Dogecoin is
I stay off the Dogecoin train personally.
Dogecoin is it's fugazi. It's not real. It's fairy dust. It doesn't have because an unlimited amount can be mined. So it literally, it's the fact that it did shoot up as much as it did is amazing. It shows the power of the internet, but it's kind of like it's a pump and dump at its best. And Elon Musk kind of trolled everyone, I think, by doing it. And just because he could, he's like, yeah, I'm bored today. I'm gonna get Dogecoin up there. Probably had a bet with a buddy or something, but it's just not possible for it to get, unless literally every single person in the world invested. But because Doge doesn't actually have and that's what the creator of Doge even joked up and said, and he's just like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because this was meant for a joke. The fact that it got as high as it did, but I mean, hey, if it keeps going up, you never know. I think it's just gonna plummet back down to the abyss very shortly. Taking from someone, I bought Doge 4 years ago as a joke, but also because it's so cheap. It's in a wallet somewhere. Don't know where it is. It's probably worth a lot more than it was back then. Can't get to it. So
yeah, no, I typically stay away from Doge. I have invested in it in the past. I mean, are you really in crypto if you haven't invested into Doge at some point? I mean, you almost have to, right? No, it is. It's a meme coin. It really has no intrinsic value or anything like that. To me, it's one of those things where I stay away from it just because I have no idea where the hell it's going from a day-to-day basis, and it's so hard to predict it because it is so predicated on, it'll get a huge pump if a celebrity talks about it or something like that. But then it could also just dump right back down. All you have to do is look at a month ago or a little bit more, where that thing went from obscurity to like 8 or 9 cents. How would you like to have been one of those people that bought it when it was like 8 cents, and it went up to 9, and you're thinking, here we go. And then it just drops and kept dropping.
Perspective, I bought it when it was, I think, 1/100th of a. That makes sense. I think it was 1/100th of a cent, or
Yeah.
so, it was so incredibly low. I bought, I don't know, a couple thousand of it, and yeah, so it was worth a ridiculous amount of money, probably, which kind of makes me want to kick myself. I put it in some random wallet and kind of laughed it off, and yeah, joke's on me. So, you never know, but I wouldn't say long term. No, I don't think Doge is going to be. I give it maybe the end of this month, and I think it's going to go back down to nothing.
Yeah, I think
because I just don't think it can. I don't think it's possible.
As you say, it's a good speculative one, I guess. If you have some, I guess I would say if you have some extra money sitting on the side that you can afford to lose with a high potential, or I guess a potential of high gains, if all the stars align perfectly for it, then absolutely go for it. So
hey, you know what? The sun shines on a dog's ass once in a while. It happens. You never know. That's right. And that goes right there. It basically is blind squirrel found a nut once, but I don't see it happening again.
Yeah, he says the 50 cents to $1 people thought it would get to doesn't seem doable. Yeah, I think I think you're 100% right about that. I think 10 cents is going to be very tough for Doge, and that's the thing. I mean, that's the thing you find out with crypto is sometimes it can be really difficult to predict where a project's going to. There's a lot of great projects in the space, and then sometimes you get one like this right here where it just out of the blue ends up being the one that everybody wants to pump, and it starts to. But I agree. I don't think that it's going to I don't think that it's going anywhere close to 50 cents.
Yeah.
Dan says he's trading on Coinbase currently, but I lost out on Engine because Coinbase doesn't trade it. What other sites would you suggest? So another great exchange that you can use, Dan, is Gemini. Now, they don't have Engine either. I believe one of the easiest places to get Engine would probably either be Binance or KuCoin. Binance, definitely make sure you're Binance.us. And then KuCoin's another good exchange I've used for years, and they've always been very, very good. I believe I'm trying to think of where I have Engine at. I think it's on KuCoin is where I've gotten mine at previously. Jonathan says, "What are your thoughts on Cello?" I do like Cello. Here's the thing. There's so many different projects out there. A lot of them try to do the same type of thing. Cello is, if I'm not mistaken, let me double check real quick. I believe it's mobile payment. Yeah. So Cello is based on like mobile payment and stuff like that, which I do think is going to be huge. The one caution that I always have is, there was a project and it's still around. It's kind of in obscurity at this point, but it is still around. The hottest thing going from 27 going into 2018, and everybody was naming this as one of their top crypto projects because of the use case, which was very similar to Cello, Electroneum. That was one that I was really, really high up on. I loved Electroneum. That was one that, you could get it for, 12 cents at the time or something like that. It was a really great deal, and it made it all the way up to like 25 cents. And now it sits at like below a penny, I think, so it's one of those things. It's a great use case. Can they execute on the actual project itself? If they can, mobile payments are going to be huge. A lot.
Uh-oh. Let's see.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
That was weird.
Yeah, it was weird. I've never had that happen before.
Yeah, I don't know. All of a sudden, it just dropped me out. Huh. Anyway. So I think if they can execute on it and the team behind it is solid, then it's a good one. Thanks, guys. I appreciate your opinion. Absolutely. No, happy to help. Let's see. If they start installing Theta nodes on phones, how high could it go? Oh man, if they start installing Theta nodes on I mean, streaming in general is just going to be, it's going to be massive. If they start having Theta nodes on phones, man, I don't even know, to be honest with you, how high it could go.
That would be amazing.
Oh, I mean, take the price I threw out there and double it. I mean,
Oh yeah,
I don't know. I'd have to imagine. I'd have to do some thinking on that, to be honest with you. I'm not sure. Tezos, what do you think about Tezos? I bought some off of a friend's referral and haven't dug in deeply. It's been treating me well. I do like Tezos. You know, I think it's look, it's a top project. I think right now it's sitting at like it's in the top 30, top 35, somewhere in there. To me, any project that's in there is the real deal. I really do think that those are blue chippers. You know, top 20 for sure are all blue chippers, but really, if you can get top 50, those are all ones that they're probably a little bit more of a surefire thing. But I'll tell you, some of the best money to be made in the in the crypto space is those really, really low cap gems. If you can find like a project that's under 10 million market cap, I mean, you hear people that find a project that literally is like just super, super low market cap, and then they end up making, you know, 10,000% on it or something like that, because it just gets the job done. You know, it just all of a sudden moons. Let's see. I have Pillar in a vintage ETH wallet. Spent 2 weeks and 25 cents ETH trying to move it. Looks like I'm staying there. Absolutely. Question I've thought of recently: how many different cryptocurrencies are there? It's over 8,000. Let me check CoinMarketCap right now. 8727. Wow. So, guys, the thing with crypto is anybody can make their own crypto. It's not something where like you have to have this massive company to make it or something like that. I mean, literally anybody could make a cryptocurrency. Now, whether that survives or gets any traction, that's another thing. But you know, it can be really anybody could. Jonathan, what just happened? I don't know, to be honest with you. It like dropped me out all of a sudden, but then when I went out to the main page on StreamYard, all of a sudden it was saying it was still going. I was like, oh, okay, well, I don't know what happened. All right, last couple here, guys, and then we're going to hop off. Joe says, what are your thoughts on co-vesting and, more importantly, the trading module behind it? Check out Prime XBT. I'm going to write that down because I don't have any familiarity with it personally, but I'm always willing to learn more about it. Hey, if it's a good opportunity and there's money to be made doing it, I'm going to look into it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Bart says, what do you know about buying crypto domains? It's actually, that's an interesting question, Bart. That is something that I'm looking into currently, just trying to get a little bit of a background on it. Because, you know, nobody talks about that. Like nobody really, I haven't found anybody that really talks about that type of stuff, but I find it really interesting. You know, I find it so intriguing and everything. So I'm definitely looking into it.
That will be a future video for No Tie Required. So
absolutely. Isabel says Theta. I love Theta. We love us some Theta. All right. Well, I think we're at the end of all the questions. You got anything else for the people out there, Dan?
No, I think that covers it. We'll see you guys Wednesday. We got a good lineup for Wednesday and Thursday, but we'll you know, we're going to try to get the crypto lead set up, guys, because I really do think I think that'd be a lot of fun. I don't know. I think it'd be a fun competition. Like I said, we'll have a prize at the end for the first place. I don't know. We'll probably cap it at 2 weeks, I think, to keep it quick, and then we can kind of do like reset it, do another one, you know, reset it, do another. I think it'd be just a fun thing for everyone to. It helps people like me that aren't heavily invested in the crypto like you. You know, you're playing with fun money, and it's not real money then, because the one we're looking at, guys, is it's all virtual money, and you play the real time market, but you know, it's fantasy, so you can kind of see how well you would do if you do it, and whoever gets first with the highest percentage of gains, and we all start with the same amount of money, wins. So
I love it.
So all right, guys.
Absolutely, guys, as always. Oh, let me throw this up. Hold on real quick. Bam, right there. Guys, anybody that is brand new to crypto, if you're watching the live stream version right now, or if you are watching the replay, anybody that's brand new, if you want a free crypto startup guide, okay, you don't know where to start and kind of how the whole thing works, use that link that's down there at the bottom scrolling across there. Click on that, and there should be a link to get a free crypto guide. Okay, so it kind of walks you through the basic steps on getting started. There also may be something else in the works that Dan and I are working on right now for anybody that's brand new to crypto. I don't want to go into too many details on it, but we do have some stuff that we're working on, trying to help as many people get up to speed with it as we can. I've, personally, I was there. I totally get it. And it's a very confusing space sometimes. And we want to try to simplify it as much as we can for people. That's why, like I said, I don't get into the technical analysis. I don't get into any of that type of stuff. I want to make it as simplified as possible for people, and make it so that you guys have a really good, transparent idea where I'm putting my money and what my top thoughts are on stuff. So, yeah. So guys, go to that link right there if you want a free crypto guide. With that being said, hopefully we'll see everybody Wednesday night. We don't even know what we're covering yet on Wednesday. We're gonna.
Oh, we do. I already got an outline drafted. You just don't know about it yet. Super
awesome.
Secret. So, guys, we'll see you Wednesday night at 10 o'clock. Have a good Eastern time for the peeps like John out west. So
that's right.
All right,
have a
guys.
great night, guys.